You don't need to show every step of your life to prove you're moving forward. The more you expose yourself, the more space you give for criticism, judgment, and attempts to discourage you. That's inevitable, because whoever shows too much eventually becomes a target. And what breaks you down the most isn't the direct attack. It's discouragement disguised as advice. It's the poison that comes from those who never had the courage to try. How many dreams have died this way? Not from lack of potential, but from too much exposure. There is great power in building in silence, in growing without an audience, not as an escape, but as a strategy. Those who quiet the noise outside strengthen their inner voice. Those who stop seeking applause find clarity. Today, I want to show you how to disappear the right way, how to grow without depending on anyone's approval, and how to return so transformed that your presence will be impossible to ignore. This is the silent commitment, to evolve without boasting, because when you return, you will no longer be the same. Comment now. I choose to grow in silence because this is a Stoic practice, protecting your energy, focusing on what is under your control, and letting your results speak for you. And before we begin, I just ask, like, comment, share, and subscribe, so this video reaches more people who are also seeking clarity. Let's begin. 1. Disappear the right way and watch the world try to figure you out. Imagine your words are like footprints in the sand. Every piece of information you reveal about your life is a trail you leave behind. The more you speak, the easier it is for others to track your steps and predict your next moves. Think about how many times you felt frustrated because your plans didn't work out, or you realized that when you shared something important, you received more doubt and distrust than support. That happens because silence is power, but your mouth can be your worst enemy. The habit of sharing details about your life is deeply ingrained. From early on, we are taught to seek validation. We share our achievements hoping for recognition and our challenges hoping for support. But this need for exposure comes at a cost. It opens space for interference, judgment, and even envy. From now on, learn to catch your thoughts before they escape through your lips. As Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Nature made us this way so that we listen twice as much as we speak. Don't tell your plans, challenges, or dreams to just anyone. There's only one exception, the person who walks beside you and shares your values, ambitions, and genuine desire to grow. If that alignment doesn't exist, speaking less becomes even more important. Outside of that, start cultivating mystery around you. Let others wonder what's going on in your life. When you keep your plans to yourself, you eliminate distractions and protect your energy. Instead of explaining yourself, let your results speak for you." In this context, silence is not isolation, it's strategy. Silence protects your goals, avoids outside interference, and gives you something valuable: control over your own narrative. Either you take the reins of your story, or you let others decide it for you. 2. Disconnect from external approval. Picture this: you're in a room full of mirrors, but these mirrors don't show your true image. Each one distorts who you are based on someone else's opinion. One mirror makes you look smaller because someone underestimated you. Another enlarges your flaws because someone criticized your decisions. And the worst mirror of all, it only reflects what others want to see, erasing your true identity. Now tell me, do you really want to live in this maze of false reflections? Many people spend their lives trying to fit into these distorted mirrors, shaping their opinions, behaviors, and even dreams to win approval, whether from family, friends, partners, or strangers on the internet. They place too much value on social approval and develop an irrational fear of disapproval, criticism, and rejection. But in the end, what they're left with is a fragile identity, always dependent on what others think. The problem isn't what others think, it's believing that their opinion matters more than yours. If you want to disappear the right way, you need to break those mirrors and create your own reference for value. Ask yourself daily, if I were someone else, would I admire me? If no one was watching, would I still be doing what I'm doing? The answers reveal whether you're living for yourself or for an audience. Because in the end, the only approval that truly matters is your own. Arthur Schopenhauer said, "The ordinary man worries about how to pass the time. The talented man tries to use it." If you spend your life trying to be accepted, you're wasting a resource you can never get back: your time. Time you could be using to become someone you're proud of, instead of someone who only seeks to please others. True transformation happens when you become the only voice that matters, when your decisions are validated by you and not by outside eyes. The moment you stop asking permission to be who you are, no one can stop you. 3. Speak less, do more. You know that feeling of excitement when you come up with a brilliant idea? Your heart races, your mind fills with possibilities, and the first thing you want to do is tell someone. But here's a fact you need to know. Talking about your plans drastically reduces your chances of success. Every time you share your intentions, you lose a little of the energy needed to carry them out. Think of it like a balloon filled with air. Each word you speak lets a little air out. At first it still floats, but if you keep talking, soon it's deflated, on the ground, lifeless, and most importantly, without action. Psychological studies show that when you talk about your goals, your brain gets a dopamine hit, as if you had already achieved them. The problem? That instant pleasure replaces the motivation to act. You feel like you've done something, when in reality, you've only drained the energy needed to execute, and you stay stuck in the same place. That's why you should keep your plans to yourself. If you need advice, be precise about who deserves to hear them. Share only the essentials with those who can truly help you. Your ideas are like seeds. If you plant them in the right soil and water them in silence, they'll grow strong. But if you scatter them everywhere, they'll be trampled before they even sprout. Let your actions speak for you, and let silence be your shield. 4. Hide your progress. Imagine you are cultivating a rare tree. At first, no one sees anything but empty soil, but beneath the surface, deep roots are forming. If you start digging into the soil every time a root grows, just to show everyone something is happening, you're not helping that tree. You're preventing it from growing strong. Now apply this to your life. Progress will come. You'll feel your own evolution. You'll see changes in yourself. But the key to making that transformation solid is not to expose it before the right moment. Why? We live in the era of self-promotion, where everything has to be proven and displayed. Humanity has never shown so much while doing so little. But your progress, when it becomes too visible, attracts more distractions than genuine recognition. Some people will feel envy and try to discourage you. Others will question your decisions, planting doubts where there was once certainty. Worse still, some will try to pull you back to your old self, because your transformation makes them uncomfortable. This doesn't necessarily mean people are bad, but every time someone moves forward, it disturbs those who have grown comfortable standing still. There's also a powerful psychological effect. Sharing small achievements too soon can trick your brain. When you talk too much about your plans and progress, your brain may interpret it as a bigger accomplishment than it really is, and that lowers your motivation to keep going. In other words, the more you talk about your growth, the less hunger you have to continue it. So, how do you hide your progress the right way? Stoicism offers valuable guidance. Be discreet. If your appearance is changing dramatically, avoid drawing attention to it. As Epictetus reminds us, if you drink water, don't go around telling everyone you drink water. Silence holds such deep wisdom that, in certain moments, it becomes the best answer. Also, keep your rise quiet. If your bank account has grown, keep living simply. Don't flaunt drastic lifestyle changes or inflate your expenses. If your skills have improved, use them with purpose, without unnecessary displays. The goal isn't to hide from the world, but to live without needing the validation or approval of others. Let results speak for you. People will naturally notice your evolution because your impact on the world will change. Your behavior, your decisions, your posture, These will all be noticed without you having to announce them. And when someone asks what happened, you don't need to give long explanations. Just smile and say, "I focused on what needed to be done." 5. Don't share your pain. Think of a fighter training alone in the dark. No one sees his falls, no one hears his cries of effort, no one witnesses the pain he feels with every blow, but when he steps into the ring, everyone sees only his strength. Now, look at your own path. Growth hurts. The journey toward maturity is made of invisible and often solitary battles. You will face days of exhaustion, moments of frustration, and nights filled with doubt. And when the pain presses on you, your instinct will be to seek comfort, to vent, to find someone who validates what you're feeling. But here's the truth. Not everyone will understand your pain. Some will listen, but few will truly care. Others may use your vulnerabilities against you, and many simply don't have the capacity to carry the weight you bear. Your tears are yours. Your scars are yours. No one will feel that pain in your place. This doesn't mean you should bury your feelings or pretend not to have them. It means you must learn to transform that pain into strength. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, gave powerful advice to a student who was suffering because of his brother's behavior. He said, "Everything has two handles, one by which it can be carried and one by which it cannot." This means that although you can't control everything that happens in your life, you can choose how to respond to it. You can carry the weight in a way that breaks you or in a way that strengthens you. Marcus Aurelius reinforces this philosophy when he says, "The obstacle becomes the way." When you decide to use every difficulty as a stepping stone instead of seeing it as a burden, you reclaim control of your life. You stop lamenting and you start acting. Embrace pain as part of the process. The hardest moments are the ones that shape who you truly are. In silence, when no one is watching, is where real transformation happens. And when that process is over, people will only see the strength you've built, never imagining the battles you fought to get there. Silence the pain. Strengthen the mind. True growth is born in silence. Part 2. What to do in the shadows. You've disappeared. You've stepped away from noise, from judgment, from distractions. Now it's just you and an unknown path ahead. But before taking the next step, you need a clear destination. Without direction, any place will seem good enough, and that's how people get lost along the way. 1. Define a goal. Picture an archer. He has a bow, an arrow, and the strength to shoot. But if he doesn't know where the target is, what happens? He shoots anywhere and never hits anything. You can't be that archer. You need a target. Here's the brutal truth. I want to improve my life, or I want to have more money, are not goals. They are vague desires, impossible to measure, and therefore impossible to achieve. If you can't measure your progress, you'll never know if you're moving forward or just walking in circles. So, be specific. Want to get in shape this year? Then what's the exact weight you want to reach? How many days of training will you commit to? What will your nutrition look like? Want to build $1 million business? How much revenue exactly do you want to achieve? In what time frame? What will your sales strategy be? And what will set you apart from the competition? Want a solid relationship? What kind of partner do you want? How will you build that connection day by day? Generic goals produce generic results. Specific goals create real transformation. But there's something even more important. Keep your goal to yourself. Talking too much about your plans creates a false sense of progress, as if simply sharing them was already an accomplishment. But in reality, you're still in the same place. The great conquerors of history understood this. They didn't announce their moves, they just acted. So, write down your goal, define numbers, dates, and details, but keep it to yourself, because by the time people notice your change, it will already be too late for them to try to stop you. 2. Structure your life to grow. People who truly transform their lives don't just want progress, they turn it into an obsession. Every waking hour must be an investment in your evolution. This doesn't mean living rigidly or without pleasure. It means directing your energy toward what really matters. The first change begins in your environment. If you want to get in shape this year, set up your space to reinforce that commitment. Plan your workouts. Lay out your gym clothes in advance. Fill your fridge with healthy foods. Make the right decision the easiest one to take. If you want to master a new skill, start reading about it. Enroll in a course. Replace empty distractions with videos and content that bring you closer to your goal. Your environment can be your greatest ally or an invisible saboteur. But environment is only part of the equation. Your time is your most valuable resource. Treat it that way. Studies show that most people underestimate the time they waste on distractions, social media, unproductive conversations, and irrelevant tasks. Every minute wasted is a minute that could have been used to get closer to your goal. Here's the key to avoiding that. Break big goals into small daily wins. If you want to learn a new language, it's not enough to say, "I'm going to study French this year." That's too vague. Make it tangible. Study 30 minutes a day, learn 50 new words a week, watch one French movie per month. This structure keeps you moving forward and prevents your goal from feeling unreachable. As Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." The secret to transformation is consistency. Make progress a non-negotiable habit. Be obsessive about your evolution. Time will pass anyway. The difference lies in how you choose to use it. 3. Change your mindset. The biggest change you can experience is not in your body or your bank account, it's in your mind. If your mindset doesn't change, nothing will truly be different, even if you earn more money or get a new physique. The secret to transforming your life isn't just in what you do, it's in what you think and believe. Learn to enjoy the process, not just the result. At the beginning, everything feels hard. You might feel lonely and question if it's worth it. Thoughts like, "This is too complicated. What if I fail?" Or, "Am I wasting my time?" will show up. But remember, effort hurts for a while. Frustration from staying in the same place lasts forever. Your brain wants to save energy and stick to old habits because that's comfortable. But all growth requires adaptation. The trick is to see discomfort as a sign of growth, not as an impossible obstacle. If you learn to enjoy the journey, no one can stop you. People who only think about the final goal rarely get there, because they put happiness in the future. That's an illusion. Top athletes don't train only to win competitions. They train because they love pushing themselves every day. The reward is in the process, not just in the medal. And remember, you don't control results, only your actions. That's a fundamental Stoic principle. You can give your best to a project, but that doesn't guarantee immediate success. You can invest in a relationship, but there's no guarantee of reciprocity. The sooner you accept this, the less you'll suffer from unnecessary frustration. Do you want to change your mind? Celebrate every small win, every completed workout, every habit you maintained, every day you beat your old self. Because those small steps, when added up, create massive transformations. Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." That means stop living to please others and start acting according to who you truly want to be. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Real growth happens when you stop seeking external approval and start acting in line with your own values. In the end, the most important change is not looking different to others. It's becoming someone you respect and admire. Part 3. How to reappear. If you've followed everything so far, something interesting will happen. Reappearing will no longer feel like a necessity. That desire to prove something to others simply fades away. When you become your own reference point, the search for external validation loses all meaning. But if you decide to show your evolution, do it the right way. not with empty words or superficial displays, but with the strength of your actions and the presence of someone who has truly changed. 1. Return in silence, but stronger. Picture this. You walk into a place where you used to be just another face. But now something has changed. People look at you differently. They feel something different about you. And here's the most interesting part. You didn't have to say a word. Your transformation will be obvious. Your new body, your new mindset, your new energy. Everything will speak for you. Many people make the mistake of justifying their evolution, explaining where they've been, what they've done, and why they've changed. But those who have truly grown don't need to prove anything. Stoicism teaches us the freedom of not depending on outside approval. As Epictetus said, when someone is properly grounded in life, they do not need to look outside themselves for approval. If you've spent time rebuilding yourself, learning and strengthening your essence, the best answer to the world now is your silence. Mystery preserves your peace, protects your focus, and shields you from destructive influences. Yes, some people will question your change. Others may even try to pull you back into an old pattern. But none of that matters. What matters is that you know who you've become. The next time someone asks, "What have you been up to?" smile, take a deep breath, and simply say, "I'm living." Then move on. Real winners don't make noise, they make progress. 2. Keep evolving. Think of a great athlete at the peak of their career. They train relentlessly, win competitions, and become a legend. But one day, they stop. They stop training with the same intensity. They stop challenging their limits. They stop growing. What happens next? Their performance drops. Their body no longer responds as before. Their reflexes slow. And then, younger, hungrier, more dedicated competitors appear. And before they know it, they've lost their place at the top. That's the mistake many people make in life. They reach a goal and think the journey is over. They get a good job, a good relationship, some financial stability, and think they can just relax. But the truth is, growth has no finish line. Life isn't about arriving somewhere, it's about continuing to move forward. You can reach the body of your dreams, the bank account you wanted, the life you imagined, but if you stop, all of it starts to fall apart. A body that's not trained weakens. Money that's not managed disappears. A mind that's not challenged deteriorates. Evolving isn't optional. It's the only way to make sure you never go back to who you were before. Comfort zones lure us with a false sense of security. You think, "I've worked so hard to get here, now I can relax a little." And then, without realizing it, a week of rest becomes a month becomes a year. Before you know it, you're stagnant, and others have passed you. Life doesn't work that way. What isn't growing is shrinking, and inevitably dying. Think of a tree. It never stops growing. Its roots deepen, its branches expand. It's in constant evolution. But if a tree stops growing, it weakens, withers, is overtaken by pests, and eventually dies. Now look at your life. Are you still growing, or are you letting yourself stagnate? People who truly evolve follow a simple rule. Every time they reach a goal, they create a new challenge. Every time they surpass a milestone, they set a new level. Every step forward is followed by the search for the next. Success is not a destination, it's a state of constant evolution. The 3 fundamental rules for continuous growth. Rule 1. Never stop learning. The world is constantly changing, and those who don't adapt get left behind. The knowledge that brought you here might not be enough to take you further. That's why you must keep feeding your mind. Read books, study, learn new skills. A mind that stops growing begins to atrophy. Learning is like breathing for the intellect. When you stop, decline begins. The more you expand your knowledge, the more tools you have to face challenges, seize opportunities, and create the life you want. Rule 2. Always challenge yourself. The human mind and body are designed for adaptation, but only when exposed to pressure and challenge. If you stay in your comfort zone, your capabilities shrink. Strength, whether mental, emotional, or physical, only develops when it's tested. Set challenges that push you beyond your current abilities. If you can run 5 miles, aim for 7. If you can save a certain amount, aim for double. If you've mastered one skill, start learning another. This constant stretching prevents stagnation and keeps you engaged with life's possibilities. Rule 3. Surround yourself with those who push you forward. Your environment is not just physical, it's also made up of the people you interact with. If you surround yourself with those who settle for mediocrity, it's almost inevitable you will lower your own standards. Instead, seek out people who challenge you, who inspire you, who hold you to a higher standard simply by the way they live. Their energy and discipline will push you to keep evolving. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the quality of his life was deeply tied to the quality of the thoughts he allowed to stay in his mind, and the people you surround yourself with strongly influence those thoughts. Disappearing is not about running away from the world, it's about creating the space to become who you're meant to be. It's a conscious withdrawal from noise, distraction, and the endless search for approval. When you disappear the right way, you protect your focus, you strengthen your character, and you grow roots deep enough to support the heights you will reach. You return not seeking applause, but living proof of your own discipline and transformation. And when you reappear, it's not with empty boasts or to prove a point. It's because your actions, your presence, and your results speak so loudly that words aren't necessary. That is the Stoic way. Direct your energy toward what's within your control. Stay silent about what doesn't need to be spoken, and let the life you've built speak for itself.